hello, it is I, Lone of Cats. I am alone tonight. Yes, I know. Today, it's not night, it's day. Hello. I have take over brain. Bit gone too far, bit never stop. Please help. I've lost control of bit.
Alright. System does work. Oh my goodness. I'm midnight. I was again stuck in the mortal coil of repetition. I long for the days of faster internet. Screaming silent into the void as mobile data and mobile delay consumes me. Every day I fall further into despair, awaiting the moment I can be free of the capitalistic shackles. I stray further and further away from reliable Wi-Fi. Anyways, hi guys. Midnight, I feel the same. Given the fact that my streams have really been affected by my ISP services of late and getting dips and stuff like that. But hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the stream. Midnight needs a rat picture. Well, she just has to see herself in the mirror. She's the rat queen. And I don't mean that as a. I know Midnight won't, but just for those who are new, that is not an insult. Midnight does love her rats. I was holding that message for 5 minutes. I commend it. Midnight. Gosh, that was a great dread, existential dread type of writing from like the type of shit that I like. This is true. I am the self-proclaimed rat queen. Yeah, I'm just giving context for other people. But yeah, so I know that yesterday I might have said some other things about things we could have probably do today. But I thought that an interesting thing. I'm just trying to be optimizing my time, especially when I'm streaming, and start using that a little bit more to further move along the channel. So it's not just like, all right, the videos and Orpheon as a channel proper is frozen whenever I'm doing a stream, because ideally I could probably hire an editor or two that could take care of the side media or side content while I make the big videos. But when you can't have that, then I try the next best thing. It's not every day a girl calls herself a rat as a compliment. She single-handedly recollected all the rats in her legends across the games until there's no wilds. Midnight is the rat hoarder. She is causing chaos by just keeping all the rats to herself. That is the new headcanon, I guess. But yeah, so I thought that it might be wise that if the next video or the next big project I want to do, or at least sort of see about doing, is a topic on like the actual lore of the Metroid Prime series and stuff. I wanted to start with Metroid Prime because there's a remaster. It's the first one. It makes sense. So I thought that for the stream, given that I wanted to play Prime, it would be a good opportunity for just having a playthrough where I'm actually writing down notes of the scans and the stuff that I'm getting as I am playing the game. Like, I don't really think I need it in terms of what happens in the game, because like, isn't 20 years of replaying the same game enough? But it's just to write down more notes of the type of things and details that you see in the world as you play the game. So that way, when I'm actually just now making the script, I can recall my notes and use them, and try not to get distracted by the Chozos who have come to visit me in the window. Hello. I should start putting a feeder there, but then it will be a problem. But yeah, I thought that was that made sense for like a plan. I don't know if anybody else has any other requests or stuff, because we can always just play another Metroid game or something else. I just wanted to keep it Metroid related. I know that there's some mods and stuff as well, but it's the general gist. So far, it might just be me also in this stream. So I guess I don't get any voice bullying in my voice chat at least. And yeah, I guess I'm struggling to get a train of thought today. In general, no, it was too. If it wasn't at work, I would, but alas, yeah, no, it's fine. For me, it's more that like I've really been procrastinating, if you may. I guess it's the right term to use on like the YouTube content, just because I've been hit by the inspiration drive once again for my personal projects like recollection and stuff. So I've been really been focusing a lot on my free time and just writing the outlines for the other episodes and a few tweaks here and there just for the sake of a better narrative and a better like journey, or at least I hope in the sense that when the people are watching it, they get a better sense of the world and the scale in as small of a space as I can, because I don't really like all the when shows are eternally long. I feel like they lose a lot of the grip and a lot of the context, and then people make such high expectations and stuff. So recollecting ideas, I see. Well, you could say that. Yeah, you could. I I know you say that as a joke, but it's not. I was telling Midnight the other day that I was writing or rewriting like a portion of the story, and I wrote it in and out of my sleep. So like I would have my tablet with me, and I would go to sleep, and then I would wake up, write, and then go back to sleep, and then wake up again, and then write a little bit more, and then go back to sleep. And I did that for like a week or so, and I got at least a lot of the big things that I wasn't fully convinced out of the way, and sort of like merch. So I guess it's a writing method that I'm gonna be referring as letting my subconscious take the wheel. Um, but I haven't really gone back and read everything. I'm sure it's still got probably like grammar and spelling mistakes, but it's there, and if I reread it, I'm pretty sure I will be able to remember the ideas and stuff that I was going for, because they've been sitting in my head for a while. So that is also part of the reason that I'm trying to make this time as a, all right, it's Orpheon time. I gotta make these videos before the algorithm further buries my channel um, in the algorithm dust. But at this point, I'm kind of okay with it. I'm just happy with that I can make videos and that you guys enjoy it and stuff, and you guys show up for the stream. This is very fun. Just for midnight, I'm grabbing one of the things that I've been fleshing out a little bit more. And when I say this, is like, yeah, I had the ideas from when we did the Kickstarter, and I had a lot of these episodes. I'm just taking the opportunity to write further beyond, or plan further beyond and stuff. Hold. What are you holding for? Don't hold your breath. Oh my goodness. There she is. Um, so it's a little bit also more fleshing out like who these characters are, what is the relationship, how did they get here, why are they doing the things that they're doing, how does it make sense with their overall surprises or twists that are in the show, the bigger things are going on, and blah 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 blah. So like, just letting it cook. Nuggy stream? I mean, sort of. I was gonna play Metroid Prime to grab and write notes about the lore, but then I'm telling chat that the whole reason I've been really procrastinating with the channel with Final Fantasy and everything is just because found the creative drive again, I guess. This is also why I say you love Leela Bard, because she gives me the same energy as Red. What is that from? What book was that from? I still have the gallon that you gave me when we met up. It's in my to read next. I've been just trying to finish fucking Chapter House Dune, which is the final book and the final Dune of the final Dune thing. And I'm like 100 pages, but again, I can't. Shades of Magic, that's the one. I can't just do it because I keep going back and writing my own stuff. I just keep writing my own stuff. So like, at this point, I feel like I'm cursed, but in the fun way. I'm not really complaining, because like I'm having fun writing and doing this stuff, but at the same time, it's sort of like, uh, it sucks when you, oh, I want to do these videos for Orpheon. I want to do this thing. I want to do this thing, and I want to do this thing, and you obviously cannot do everything. So I'm also stuck in a book, and I haven't moved on. I also cannot read books because I'm stuck in prequel writing. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I am so glad I'm not the only one. Holy crap. Well, you know, it's
What
fun.
up?
Because we're also trying to do the stream updates. We're also trying to do something. So it's like, you know, it's the slow and steady on these things, and then do these stuff. I don't speedrun Metroid Fusion because I don't know how to read, but you don't need to read. In the speedrun of Fusion, you're not supposed to be reading.
Yeah, you're supposed to skip everything as fast as you can.
Yeah, skip everything.
In the speedrun, the last thing you do is read. Not even on the reading sections of a game. People are like, okay, you have to choose this option, and it's 2 buttons down.
Wow, this is
Actually, Midnight, you're not supposed to smash A because most of the time that's gonna cause that you restart the conversation. You have to smash B and press A.
I think the advantage in Fusion is that you can just mash B up until the point where Adam tells you if there's any objections, and then it defaults to no.
Oh, it defaults to no? Okay, that's
I
good.
believe so, that in Fusion at least it defaults to no. But I want to say that's just muscle memory.
You're saying that you are muscle memory? Or that you are the muscle memory?
I am muscle memory. There's the character in a nutshell. The advantage of Zero Mission is you don't have to worry about text very much. The problem about Zero Mission is that you gotta worry more about your mobility. Like, as someone who's sort of like I speed run Fusion back in the day. I didn't really get into Zero Mission because Fusion is just more my type of game. But from trying out both, at least back in the day, I wanted to say that I like Fusion because the heavier physics made it like easier to put it into the muscle memory. The more agile, faster, precise controls of Zero Mission are fun, but they also add a little bit more of that like skill ceiling because you're supposed to memorize more of a map and more of the sequence breaking and the secret paths all over the place, which makes, I guess, for a more interesting run if you're just used to playing the regular game. But I just like the slower pace the Fusion tends to have because, like, oh yeah, the worst thing I have to worry about is the Atom text, and it's just press and hold B, press and hold B, press and hold B, press and hold B, press A, press and hold B, press and hold B, go play the game. Plus, they make for great water breaks / snack breaks and stuff like that. Just checking on your chat break. What am I working on? Oh well, this is the show. Well, at least concept of what's a break, like a pause, like un descanso, like can
I
be
mean,
It's like when you have an unskippable cutscene and you just take a 5-minute chill moment to just drink water and stuff. Oh, I'm joking. Okay. Sorry, I got people who sometimes don't understand like lingo like that, so I don't like to make assumptions, and I can't read sarcasm through text because I play Zero Mission, and there are many. Yeah, no, there are not many in Zero Mission. That was why I like Fusion. There's more breaks, but this is um these are for a project I'm working on, an original project called Recollection. Um, Supposed to be like an animated show slash graphic novel type of thing. Yeah, these are storyboards for it. I got concept art and stuff like that as well. These are just storyboards for like just to flesh out like one episode and um play around with the timing and just like a little bit of the pre-production that might be required to make the show that doesn't involve writing more and making more character designs. So it's also the number one reason why Jaboy has been procrastinating on talking about Samus on YouTube. I wanted to just get this for Pawn and Midnight, who I know are in the chat and they know about the project a little bit more. Like I could talk more about it as always if you guys ever have questions, but forgot the name. Thanks for helping me recollect. But yeah, I can't. The reason I haven't talked about Samus on YouTube is because I'm a little bit distracted making an original character. Do not the steal. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you like that type of stuff and you've always wondered, well, how did the show or movie? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm Nick Jones on YouTube. Sometimes I run into you there, sometimes here. Oh, well, that's good to know. Trying to find where's the other. I one nuggies. But I guess that since there's someone in the chat who might not be too familiar, I'll just show like a concept art, I guess, for like the poster, the final, like what we would like it to be in sort of a final preview of sorts, or close to it. I realize I never mind. I don't have those files on me. They're in the other hard drive which I left downstairs. Shit. I was doing writing as I said. Shit. But I guess here's one I could use maybe. Oh. There we go. Poster board. I need to find a new animation app for iOS. Current one, I'm starting to get too skilled for it. Lamau tends to happen. But yeah, there's like one of the concept arts that was also done. I like the contrast. Yeah, we're going for something that might be simple to, because I wanted to just make it like an animated graphic novel type of thing. Oh my goodness. Will you look at that? Would you look at that? Mods, please. Thank you. Trying to look for.
Oh, maybe that's not doing. Oh, damn. Never mind.
Yeah, well,
Pawn did it.
Here's another like early preview concept. Just colors and stuff. I really thought I had some of the others, but I think I just have mostly is concept art here rather than the final versions. But I'll put this one in there because I know midnight, just for midnight, and then I'll go load the game. Oh, bang. No, wrong one. Wrong one's got an alpha channel. What time? There we go. I don't like the smock aura. Is mocking me. Well, better get used to it. But yeah, like there's just some of the tentative stuff. So yeah, that's part of why I've like not been doing a lot of honestly look good together, Red and Lizard. Oh no, don't say those things. No. Don't say ooh, wrong Mac. Is it you? No, this is the mech by itself. Obviously, please don't look too much into the character designs. They're all placeholders, blah, 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 blah. Laser cosplaying is red. I don't know what you're talking about. It's been done before, yeah. It's not like the only reason I played Samurai for a while was because I made a glam for red, because I found a red sword that really fits the one that we made. Though I'm also trying to make a blue one for Lizard.
Transform, flip horizontal.
I'm also just plugging in my Switch and all that stuff while I'm showing these. So I'm like doing an ambidextrous job over here. One hand is doing one thing, the other hand is doing the other thing. Lets me stimulate my brain.
That didn't come out as you think as it came out.
I know. Don't blame me, blame me. Are there any apps you recommend? Keep it PG-13. You guys are the ones taking it out of context. And then I'll just show one last, because I just found it here and I know Pawn and Midnight will enjoy this on stream. And it's in the same folder, it's in the same thing. I'm not updating El Gato on the background. And then there's this other thing which is for a completely unrelated project to that one. So this is like project 2, more or less. No, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Just because it's still very, very rough and very early, and I don't really want to be saying things that I don't have ready and stuff like that. But it is another thing. Yet another distraction for me. All right, let me now load Metroid Prime. Thank you for indulging in my own creative endeavors, chat. I used to watch your videos. I wonder what you've been up to. Well, I just mentioned that the whole reason there's no videos and what I've been up to is just I've been pursuing a little bit more of my own creative endeavors, original projects and stuff like that aren't just me yapping about brain rot Metroid or brain rot insert other game here on YouTube. And I've been trying to just think of a longer format videos that feel more my passion and just these projects. I mentioned those in the latest video. I know that maybe not everybody saw it, but like I'll show you, I guess, and then we'll go into. And then for real, we'll get into the fucking. I know I keep saying this. I know these keeps happening all the time, but I don't know. I just you guys are my audience, so I thought it'd be bang, yeah. So I just been busy making more original concepts and stuff like that. It's respect, people taking care of themselves. Yeah, I mean, I like making the videos, not so much because like, all right, a big YouTuber, blah blah blah. I make money. I'll be honest, my channel is very tiny and it does not make nearly enough to basically sustain itself or allow me the opportunity to like hire more people to just make more and more videos come out. But at the same time, I do like the sort of it's just me with the help of Gab and Pawn and Midnight and Kuba and all the other mods who help me with making the videos coming out. But like it's just like, you know, we've been trying to do more. Oops, that's another other thing. Original projects and the likes.
Hello.
For just you guys really. So that way we can do. Thank you for the follow, by the way. But you could talk so much about things, at least until we are 1 hour in the stream. I mean, yeah, I mean, I the streams are mostly just chatting with you guys. There's the other project. So like I've always been, you know, I'm an animator, writer, type of stuff, editor. I love telling stories. Storytelling is my passion, you know. So I've always wanted to do something. Oh my goodness, this is ginormous. I forget this art is very big. Oops, that fucked it up. There we go. So like, you know, I've just been trying to put more of that time into these original projects because I think that in the longer term, it might bring, if they do get off the ground and they become their own thing, they might bring you guys more entertainment and more of joy than just YouTube guy number 427 telling you why the Varia suit is so cute. It's reason number one, it turns into a fucking ball. So like, you know, I have enough of an idea and enough of a journey and enough of a lore and the characters and all this other stuff to just make it its own thing. And if you've come to know me and the things that I like, Metroid, then you probably know what you might more or less type of expect it in some aspects and stuff. Why does that not sound right? I don't know. Alongside a random Frenchman that I was playing 14 with ya, as well as some German idiot who's sharing your brain rot and jacking up cats. Well, I do really appreciate all you guys just coming over into streams because I just love chilling with you guys in general. Like the whole reason I started the YouTube was just to make friends and stuff like that. So like, I'm really happy that no matter how small the chat may be, that we're talking and stuff. A fun thing I personally enjoy is making jewelry. I'm currently wearing a twin link copper chain made with 12 gauge copper wire that I made myself. Everybody needs hobbies. Yeah, I mean, everybody needs a hobby. My mom likes to do jewelry as well. She likes to like go to vendors and find stones and stuff and just make necklaces and earrings and stuff like that for people. So maybe one day I'll take some pictures and share it with chat. But okay, now for real. Before chat goes like blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Get this neat lady in this guy off my screen. Even though there's a himbo there for pawn. But yeah, that's one of the main reasons why like there's not a lot of videos on the YouTube as often. Because like between that and some other life stuff and whatever, like I've always done Orpheon during my downtime. Back in the day when I started the channel, I was either studying or doing some part-time jobs, so I really had like a lot of free time to just pull up a laptop and edit a video and whatever. But like recently I've just been going back to my own stuff just because I found like more inspiration or more references of the type of themes or things that I wanted to tell, and now I have a reference to guide me on how I could probably achieve those things. And yeah, as Shateley says, the stress nowadays also fucking sucks. Expecting a collectible in the mail today. Mario Game & Watch, just waiting for the truck. Oh, I actually have one of those. I got one of those and I'm displaying it on my shelf right now. It's I bought from Etsy a custom acrylic stand of sorts that costed like $5. But it's really great because it just props it props it up. It's clear plastic or black. I bought mine black just because I think it blends better with my shelves or the rest of the scenery. So that way I could have it like propped up and displayed, because I know that the Zelda one, because you have it, Gabe, comes with the
Yes.
box that you could prop it up in the box and display it, but not the Mario one.
Yep.
Yeah. If this channel was bigger, you wouldn't be bothering to work on your own IP, which is a bigger goal. I don't think so. I think that if this channel were bigger, I would probably just have found people that I can sort of hire and bring them aboard to help me edit the videos and stuff like that. So that way the responsibility of me is more of a writer, voice actor, producer. And then I can send, because a lot of the time waste is just the research and then the editing and then the animations and then the exporting and all this other stuff. So like if it were bigger, it'd be to the point that I'd be just using whatever the channel manages to create to just pay people to help me out make the videos, and that way I can just be focusing on these projects. So because like the ultimate goal, like, is if the channel got big, is that I just become a producer and I just invite people over to help me make videos in their own editing styles or their own scripts and stuff like that. There is a story that I do have planned, or a concept at least, that I showed by accident right now, that the main goal is like I made a character, I made a world, I made a journey, but from point A to point B, episodic format. I want to be able to reach out to other creatives and other writers and other directors or whatever and just tell them, all right, here's the thing. Would you like to write something and we can produce it and all that other stuff? I'll just be in behind the scenes as a producer. I'll write my own things. You get to write your own thing, and stuff like that. Being producer sound not fun though. It is, and it isn't. Neither is editing. Neither is animating. Neither is any of these positions. But we do it because we have a passion for, telling stories and working with others to bring these stories to life and shit like that. I mean, if it ain't a better testament than this silly channel that Gabe and I just one night said, all right, throw up sheet of channel names.
Yep.
And then Gabe just sitting with me over, what was it that we had, McDonald's or Taco Bell, and recording.
I'm pretty sure it was either Taco Bell or Chipotle.
I think it was Chipotle. It was Chipotle because they had the promo burrito bowls 2 for 1, and we went to it.
Oh wait, no, it was fucking Chili's.
Oh yeah, it was Chili. That's the Chili's. Yeah, the
$20 two bundle meal.
$20 for 2. Hello, Americ. Also,
They're still doing that, by the way.
Justin Bailey, I'm sorry for not answering earlier. You asked about, if you're still here, are there any other apps I recommend? The one I use is Flipaclips in subscription base if you're feature. For the drawing and animation, for editing, I recommend, for free editing, I like to use the Adobe suites, but I've slowly drifted away from it, and I'm using these news videos to edit on other softwares. I've already edited in DaVinci Resolve, and I recommend that as the go-to free alternative to Premiere nowadays instead of Sony Vegas. So if you're ever looking for like a video editing process software that can do some animation and some fantastic color correcting tools, you can go harder than DaVinci Resolve.
Isn't DaVinci for VFX?
The DaVinci, okay, the thing is that when I say DaVinci, you gotta pretend I'm saying Autodesk, Adobe. It's the company. Resolve is the software. But yeah, DaVinci used to specialize in software for VFX and color grading. But their Resolve is like their answer to the Premiere pipeline that just has their own built-in integration with their own built-in, software and color grading stuff. So.
Oh, basically, is their answer to, hey, Adobe,
Yes.
fuck you for making people pay subscription.
Yeah, so it's really good. I really recommend it. It's very intuitive, very similar UI and workflow to Premiere. I finished writing my own IP, about 580 pages total, now working on concept arts. Well, if you ever want like feedback or just bounce off ideas or just like talk about it, feel free to let me know. Like I'm always happy to help people with their projects and collaborations and stuff like that. I'd be more than happy to pitch in, even if it's just like, oh, I like the idea, I think you got something solid here, or whatever, of course, you know. But because I hope to do the same with my project whenever it's ready to be shown a little bit more. But for drawing, I don't really know what I would recommend because I'm just painter tool size, features and brushes and editing stuff is just way too OP to not have as the #1 recommended thing. And I haven't really played with any alternative as much because I'm, you know, I'm more of an editor writer type of guy. But I know that, you know, for animation, there is the other problem with animation is that there's so many softwares out there that I think do a good job at filling the type of roles that you would see. So it really depends on the type of animation, because, you know, flash animation, 3D animation, graphic animation are similar and they share the same roots, but they go by very different processes and stuff like that. Oh my god, Manon? What about the Manon? Did I show a Manon by? Oh, yeah, oh, I know. Okay, the Krako's image. Profile image. Did I just load the same profile? No, this is the other profile. Am I just this brain dead over Metroid Prime? Don't answer that question, chat. I really need to kick myself into work again. Master crasting doesn't sound as good as procrastinating, and so I guess that isn't a good thing. The way I say that I put the pro in procrastination is that I give myself more than one project, and so when eventually I get tired or I hit a wall in one project, I just swap to something different. The advantage I've seen with this is that I keep myself constantly working on things. The issue I have is that I'm making progress on all these things at the time, and they'll probably be finished by a certain point, but like you get to show a little bit less. Given the current state in which I am at, though, it's something I can really like afford. Well, currently looking for reader tests. It's Spanglish though. Bueno, la ventaja tuya es que yo sé.
Humble. You know both. Is that what you're going to say?
Yes, but I'm sorry. The narration on the game scared me. I forgot I put the okay. So the game Metroid Prime right now is having a voiceover narration. This is not in the GameCube version I've been playing since a kid. This was in the PAL version, and I put it on this trilogy version, and I forgot about it. So when I heard the voice, I got spooked because I thought it was like some video playing in an alt-tab, or like I've been watching Star Trek, so I thought it was like a Star Trek episode. But yeah, I know Spanglish. I'm fluent in both English and Spanish. Yo hablo Spanglish todo el tiempo. So, if again, I'm just offering myself as, yeah, be able to help. Just give me, like, send the thing, tell me precisely what you want from me or whatever, and then just give me some time to, like, read and get to it. Albert, why do we create the same way? Because Midnight, great writers think alike. I'm working on.
I forgot to send you that yesterday.
Hold on, let me see. I'm in one monitor.
Share with the chat.
Oh my god, Metroid Vanguard?
Yeah, just share with the chat so you can check and see it.
Hold on.
Is the Sonic RB2 mod for Metroid that I thought just kind of like fucking Doom Metroid and shit combined.
Hold on, you just gotta give me a second because of my setup right now. I'm in the one monitor mode. I am in one monitor mode. I just like with this process of me working Midnight, I like it more because I feel that I'm constantly being active instead of like forcing myself to do one project and I hit the wall and like I can't do something else until I finish it or I climb it. When in reality, because I'm doing these in my own time, sometimes I'm like, all right, I don't really like this idea. Maybe I'll go brainstorm about other idea real quick, and then that refreshes my brain. You know? I don't know.
I know. Do you know? Because I know.
Has the game come out yet? What game? Which game? I mean, there's several games that have come out, and there's several games that have not come out yet.
Which game specifically we're talking about that has come out? If we're talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza, it has come out and it's pretty good. Too bad it was not made for the Switch 2. It struggles on the Switch 2.
Oh my goodness, really?
Mhm.
I thought that was like, I don't know. I always assumed that it being exclusive to the Switch 2, that like,
Yeah, so here's the thing about a lot of things people misinterpret it. Just because you're playing on a better hardware doesn't mean that it's gonna run better.
well, let's put a pin on that real quick. I just want to see this trailer. Scans have located Metroid signals for Planet S. This is a project called Metroid Vanguard that Gabe sent me.
Yeah, it's done on the Sonic Racing, Robo Racing 2, no, Robo Battle 2 mod.
Oh my goodness, hold on, this is very loud. Oh, this is louder than I thought. Hold on, holy crap. And I have the audio low over here for the channel. No. And now it won't play. Oh, no, now it's playing. Never mind. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, no, never mind. Okay. Alright. Alright. I just get to play as canonically accurate Samus. Canonically accurate Chozo Warriors first-person shooter Samus. Alright. Oh my goodness. 99 save files. They're even... Wow. Metroids to discover the truths in the new campaign. It's got online? Oh my gosh.
No, it only has online. It has multiplayer.
Oh my... Yeah, that's what I meant. Alright, yeah, we gotta try this out on stream. We really gotta try this out on stream. This looks a lot of fun, I'm not even gonna lie. Oops, I turned off my overlay. Oh no, it's just disconnected. It's so spooked.
No overlay.
That spooked me. I thought it was done.
Nope.
I thought it was done because I saw the trailer, the logo. All right. I'm a mega tunnel visioner. If I hit a wall on something I work on, that wall will haunt me until its resolution. For me, I've learned the fact I used to be like that until I learned the fact that you just gotta you gotta let your brain simmer. Obsessing over it more and more will only do more and more harm because you're just putting the perfectionist in you rather than the idea itself taking shape and you getting convinced of maybe how it works and stuff like that. But that's just my approach. Perhaps we could come with something. I'll join your Discord then and let's see what happens. Well, like I said, you guys are more than welcome to DM me if you have. I've always tried to say that if there's any project, Metroid or non-Metroid related, that people would like just extra hands, extra eyes, just feedback on, or a YouTube video, or be a YouTube video, book, game, fan art. I'm more than happy to help. I'm just I create like telling stories and doing all this other stuff is my passion. And I just be happy that I can lend a hand and help the projects take their own shape in any way I can. I should start sharing my stuff more often. I got too many things for my dumb idiots as it is. I mean, I do the same, but I'm just trying to put it in a more concrete fashion. So that way when people are reading it, they just don't get like, or it's not just, all right, here's the idea for the stories. Here's also some execution and stuff like that.
Execution.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Chad, this is my favorite part of the game.
Space.
Yeah, the outside of the Orpheon. Home sweet home, am I right, Chad? Well, the thing I am doing right now, Midnight, is I'm just writing the actual outline of like what's the general gist of what happens in the story, and writing one or two notes of like what could be included in the flavor text and stuff like that. And then once all that is said and all of that is and I'm happy with it, then like I'll worry about the meticulous dialogues and interactions and stuff like that. Just because if not, I'm gonna get like obsessed over the details. So I guess I'm just doing my editor. I guess that's my editor brain and workflow for you, where you do a rough cut first, and then you start obsessing over the little intricacies. It's like the level of like detail that people just including me, that just like, we just speed through it. I almost don't recognize the Orpheon landing station when looking backwards. Oh, I'm very familiar with like this stage because as a kid I just obsessed over this and the details and stuff like that. Because like, for reminder for those who might not be fully aware, this was my first Metroid game, and before it I mostly played like Zelda and other Nintendo games. So going from like Nintendo 64 Ocarina of Majora's Mask, I should say, to this was very like, whoa. Like all the little details that just make it feel so alive. The things spin. I always imagined that this portion of the Orpheon frigate, as a landing site, it's also like used to catch stuff that maybe is going off orbit from the landing site, or like ships that are trying to dock, and so they like tether themselves to these things, or they gain some form of energy or sails or stuff like that. It's just that whole thing. I find it so infinitely intricate and fascinating. Like, there's wires going over here. You can see where they come from, and all these silly little texture details. It's like even something that is supposed to be as simple as this, just a flat platform, just has like a grating over here and two little ramps that are connected, and a little pathway that's made out of a more stone material. So cool. I'm going down for a moment. I think I overate and now I'm a bit sleepy. Only downside from the remaster are the bamboo death animations and flying pirate crashing explosions. Those are small, like, sacrifices I'm willing to take by the amount of pros. For me, the biggest downside is the fact that for whatever reason they didn't add the fusion suit into this. Prime Remaster came out before Switch Online Game Boy Advance Edition, and I thought that they would have put the fusion suit by the time that came out on Switch Online just to commemorate it. Some of you will die, but that's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Albert Morpheon 2025. Maybe they put so many details because it was a launch title for the GameCube. I mean, I don't know if I would call this a launch title because it came a year after, but I guess it is considered a launch-ish game because it was announced in Space World, you know? I'm not saying that you're
Which one's a
wrong. It's
launch
just,
title?
Prime.
Kinda, but not really at the same time because remember, Shin Megami Tensei 5 was an announcement during the Switch reveal,
Yeah.
and that game came out 3 or 4 years later.
Did you guys play X-Fusion last stream? I missed it. No. Yesterday I'm just playing Metroid yesterday and today. I'll probably play X-Fusion next stream. I might have, as I was telling chat, procrastinating at the early of the stream, I might have procrastinated on setting up stuff because I'm doing my own original works while I wait for some assets to be completed so I can incorporate those into the stream. And then with those incorporated, I think it might be more fun. The streams might be more fun in general with the interactions and stuff. But yeah, in case some of you guys didn't know, this is a fun detail I like from the Orpheon. These are regarding to different like sectors of the spaceship. So like, you know, for the people about boarding and onboarding the vessel. And we're still technically in a vacuum. I also love the environmental sound because it really makes it think like there's things scurrying around in the station and stuff. Or maybe it's like machinery that is no longer working. Gosh, I really hope that size comparison is not to scale, because holy shit. Things scurrying around. Is that where my rats went? Midnight, how many times we have to tell you, you gotta keep them in one place, or else they'll scurry, and then they'll either accidentally eject themselves from the vessels, or they'll start eating the wires. And last thing we need is them eating the wires. High levels of radiation detected. Escape pod entrance. Vessel has already been jettisoned. Evacuation order 6 hours prior to your arrival. I know they like to explore, but you can buy them like a jungle gym. You can build them a jungle gym. Space pirate. Like, we spoke about the fact that you were allowed to have Rat City in your quarters, but I did not mean that Rat City was the vessel. Caused by severing of the spinal cord. Biohazardous materials batch. Phase on batch. Destination deck beta. Does not look like it can be activated from this room. I hope Sakamoto gets his bug to work and finishes Metroid 6 4 years ago. I mean, I'm honestly perfectly fine with waiting between Metroid games because I think like you gotta let these games cook. Nintendo's been on a bad track record where they just release the things that's unfinished just because they need to put it on like a release schedule so they can make more money. Or at least it feels that way with some of their recent releases from a specific time until now. That, like, if they are indeed working on a Metroid game, I would heavily advocate for it to take as long as it's needed. Rather than releasing something that's, you know, unfinished and stuff. I guess this is also going to be more of a environmental appreciation stream from for this game in general. So like, I don't know if Sakamoto's working on Metroid 6. If he is, and you know, game development has become more complex and more advanced nowadays. So that also comes with like the usual. Oh, it takes 4 years to make a game. Now it's longer and longer and longer, and that's part of the reason why these games are becoming more and more expensive. But like, if they want to really charge me up all that extra money nowadays, they gotta do it. They gotta like properly finish it. Then again, Nintendo has a tendency to sit on finished games for years. I don't have a problem with that if the game is actually finished, and I just don't know about it. It wouldn't be the first time we waited, and honestly, as much of a joke as it was, waiting for Dread was incredibly beneficial. There's nothing wrong with waiting. I fear we, collective, are getting too hasty in wanting our things. Yeah. As long as it doesn't come out in 2040. Look, if it takes up until 2040 to make like the most bombastic, best Metroid 6 game, then I can wait. 2 Parasite Queen specimens have become volatile on Dake Beta. We're all getting old. But the main thing that matters is that Metroid doesn't get old. And by rushing Metroid, then it gets old. Sakamoto may kick the bucket before then. Yeah, but like, you could say the same thing about almost any developer. Or any person working or making the game. Metroid Prime 4 because it takes 4 development cycles. Well, it's fun fact. It's like, it's funny because it's like the same reason that happened with post Metroid, Super Metroid, that nobody wanted to do Super Metroid, the follow-up to Super Metroid, because Super Metroid was such a bombastic game, and nobody wanted to take that that hurdle. And it took the disaster development of the original Metroid Prime to just get this. So like, at the same time, like, I feel that Sakamoto has been taking more and more of a less hands-on approach to Metroid, or at least the 2D Metroids. Kind of like Miyamoto with Zelda or Mario, you know, and stuff like that. But he's more actively involved, of course. But like, at the same time, I feel like, you know, there's the guys that, there's so many Metroidvanias out there today that I'm pretty sure that you could get another team to follow on Sakamoto's like traditions and stuff like that. Not to mention that there's also, you know, Kensuke Tanabe, who's also very, who's played some producer roles in these stuff. Like, I'd rather Sakamoto take his time and do the things that makes him happy than, oh, I gotta rush and make Metroid 6 because I'm gonna get old and the game's gonna, in too much time waiting. Containment breach on deck beta, all crew report for lockdown. So energy conductor unit, no. This is interesting. I mean, hell, Silksong has been a myth for years and it feels very similar. I mean, there's a lot of examples I can use for this. Art and whatnot was done by other veterans who worked on Fusion, and Zero Mission by EPD7, and Mercury Sin was led by them. Yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point, I'm pretty convinced that you could just let Mercury Steam make their own game with no like hand-holding, and they'd be fine. Is what I'm trying to say. There's so many Metroid games and so many like other type of thing games as well that of the same genre or the same style that I feel like it's more of guidance on how to capture the magic or some stuff. The fluid sacs in the mouth enlarge after mutation. It allows for increased production for corruptive bile. After mutation, the carapace of the larva becomes rigid. The carapace is resilient, able to resist attacks of many predators. Common mutation applications are complete. Primary legs of this creature possess galvanized tips, allowing it to penetrate any known alloy. Or needed in specimen. Sorry, I know I'm reading all the small details, but these details help because it's the approach I want to take to the video on how the Samus would learn what to do and what she's doing, and it's, you know, for reading on here. I'm gonna write a note. I think Project Iron Bomb Heart would use wise. I still think. Kind of funny how in Lord. Yeah, I mean I wouldn't use Project Iron. I think that's an unfair way to use it. Are not allowed to be like do their own thing and all this other stuff, and they need to be supervised because that's also like a different type of game and a different approach. And you know, there's several studios that also like fumble it on the opposite side when you have somebody involved in them, because just like look at Star Fox Zero, all the meddling between Miyamoto trying to make it like a Wii U game and all these Wii U stuff prevented Platinum Studios from just doing their thing with a game. So I feel like the equal can be said on the opposite side of spectrum when you have to give them a supervisor who's like meddling and stuff like that. But things come with experience. Staff changes, staff grows. Not every game is supposed to be a banger. We're not complaining about Platinum Studios doing whatever other game when they also bombed with so many other games in general, that I really think it depends on the game they're doing, who they're doing it from, and all this other stuff. But I was referring that there's so many other like indie devs out there, Metroid projects and stuff that bombed and all that stuff, that you could probably just approach some of them to come over and work in a Metroid game, and they either would die from the excitement or just bring in some new ideas. Find it funny how in lore Samus must use her scanner in Prime and other M to advance, yet in Samus Return she walks by panels featuring X-Parasites. Time travel, fusion Metroid, Silex, Lemon, and the Feds is my guess. I don't... Well, that's for EVR. I wonder what the lore is going to be for Prime 4. My guess is that Elma will show up and she will high-five with Samus and they'll go on cool space time travel adventures, and Silex is there. I've honestly not tried to think about it just because I'd rather just take the story for what it's for. Like, it's been 17 years since Corruption, that at this point I'd just rather see what they come up with and not make my own expectations. So if like it's not as cool as what I thought or whatever, like I guess I'm trying to like have the same open mentality about whatever lore may be, similar to like when Echoes came out or Corruption came out, and I just did not know all the little intricacies, and I could just see it's the pictures type of stuff, which is also part of the reason I don't really like to do like, oh, here's my theory videos on the lore of Metroid Prime 4, because then like, oh, none of that is true, and it doesn't matter. If I do a video like that when I did it for like Dread, it's because I have a big hunch behind it. But I haven't really felt anything like that for Prime 4, and I love it. Never kill the Metroid Queen, you just make them lose its grip, making her fall into the reactor. The Metroid Queen? I think you're talking about the Parasite Queen, if it's in this game. The lore for Prime 4 is going to be Samus blows shit up. I think Prime 4 might be bittersweet. I think it'll definitely thematically revolve around the unforgiving flow of time. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a subject alien to Metroid, because I feel that the Prime series captured that very well with the passage of time and the Chozos in Talon 4, the Luminov on Aether, the Reptilicas on Brio, and stuff like that. That it might be interesting to now see that as like the foreground story rather than the background story. She'll also twist certain orbs up. Sevis has fallen. All ground personnel are presumed dead, either killed by the hunter-clad metal or the subsequent destruction of the underground facilities. Our research frigate Orpheon, Syracuse, and Volparagon, by the way, shout out to Syracuse and the Discord server, were in orbit at 0 hour and managed to retreat. Frigate Orpheon is now docked at Vortex Outpost. Orpheon's cargo appears to have a 100% survival rate. Metroids are healthy, but not restricted on feeding schedules due to the uncertain supply status. We're ready to begin research on the Metroids and other promising life forms. Security status remains at Code Blue. No signs of pursuit from the hunter. You can also shoot 2 open doors. More bullet. Dude. I got the best twist. It's gonna turn out that Samus, it's a cyborg now. Alright, let's pretend that scenario is true. And you get to pick one augment. Like, only one augment, or one body part, or one thing that changes because Samus is now a cyborg. What it is and why. You can only pick one. Auto turret malfunction. Oh, harmless unless encountered in large numbers. Specimen solitary holding one. You know, I've honestly not listened to much of the trailers and stuff in general, because I feel like when Dread came out, I did that a lot, and then I feel like I knew too much about the game that it no longer felt like, whoa, excitement, wow, when I was playing it, aside from like just the adrenaline because I was playing the game. That I kind of want to do the opposite this time around. Just like, all right, from here until the game is out, I'll try and consume as little as I can from the game, just so that when it actually comes out, I can just have my complete unbiased opinion. Like, I guess I'm trying to emulate the good old days, blah blah blah, of when I was a kid and I just looked at it on the Nintendo Power, and then I had to play it to make my own opinions on it. But I guess that I'm so glad that today I can just Google the games and see the gameplay before I spend $60 on them. Sorry, 80. Specimens exhibit incredible strength and body mass increase when exposed to Phazon. Sakamoto is my uncle, and he told me the secrets of Prime 4. So Samus is turning into a psychic because she was experimented on by Team Rocket. And the only reason she's a hero is because she saw Ridley cry at Adam's petrified corpse. Well, that's funny that you mentioned Sakamoto, because the story for Prime 4 is written by my uncle Gunpei Yokoi. Kensuke Tanabe. Rest in peace, Gunpei. It's the only track out. I know it's the only track out. She can separate 2 halves like C-3PO in the latest, or Weevil. Yeah, Weevil. Like, if I were to do an I'd be hard pressed between either like an eye augment, just like maybe one of her eyeballs is like a robot artificial eyeball, Similar to like Somnium files, I guess, and she can use that to scan things, or whatever. So that way, there's also a little bit of the cyber stuff, or if not, like it's her right arm, so like it works better for the arm cannon and type of shit. Samus losing Adam, her husband, and her onboard chime and becoming a cyborg is a meme in the ROM hack community. Oh my goodness! Wow, that's an oddly specific. My joke wasn't so much about that. It's just that I'm a big fan of like Ghost in the Shell and shit. So, giving Metroid's themes, stories, I think it would fit very well with the stuff. Especially since we were talking about like the existentialism about the passage of time. Specimen solitary holding 2 status hermetic seal. I haven't also played much of ROM hacks. If I'm being honest, I don't really know why. I think it's just got to. It has to do that. Like I have to be on the PC and do that. And I'm usually playing, I know I'm doing that right now as I'm playing Metroid on a PC while I'm streaming live to you guys through Twitch and Restream and all this other stuff. But like, I like, I like it when when I can play these on like on the go. So like I have the Surface. And so like I used that to play the crap out of AM2R when it came out. Because I could just play it wherever. At least you can use the Pro controllers
Could
via
you just
Steam.
play whatever?
Steam on RetroArch. Can I just not plug in like any other Xbox controller to it and it detects it and I can play with it? Do I really have to?
Well, on PC, yeah, technically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking chat because they said I could do it through Steam, and I'm like, can I just not do? Doesn't it not just have native built-in controller support? Specimen solitary holding. Like there'll be a point in time, maybe after Prime 4, I really consider it, where I just open the channel and videos to like ROM hacks and fan games and stuff like that within the Metroid community. The problem is that how do I limit it? How do I limit it, you know? To where do I draw the line? Why do I talk about and why not the other things? Because if not, I'm gonna be there forever, you know. Ventilation covers may become superheated, therefore it's restricted. Yeah, so the lore video, I wanted to do it from like Samus's perspective because I think that makes sense from like so that way the video can be more of a supplemental material for anybody who's like also trying to replay the game and how they would like find the lore in the worlds or the rooms around them. With the only thing that I explain or sort of foreshadow a little bit before is the fact that the Chozo lived on Talon 4, and they got in the coming of the Leviathan seed on the planet, and then after that, just segue into the opening of the game, into like present day. Second channel, all yeah, it's not that. Yes, you're right, Chad. But like that goes back to the point that it's like I'm just the one guy. I'm just the one guy. I cannot run all this other stuff at the same time. You crazy? I got my own Metroids to write. I generally think there are third tribe. It is confirmed that there are a third tribe by themselves in the way they refer to themselves in the log. They abandoned their technological and warrior ways to pursue more spiritual. Is what it says in the log. So like you could see, and then this also goes in hand with the things seen in Skytown, which at least to this current day, if I'm not mistaken, is considered to be the oldest Chozo settlement that we know of within the Metroid games that we go to see and stuff. So it is the fact that like this was at the when you read the Chozo lore, it really does say that the Chozos have been almost so eternal that like they don't even know where maybe they come from or where they are and all this other stuff, and that at least the Chozos on Talon 4 were trying to build their own clan that like abandoned more of the physical realm in terms for the spiritual world, and that's how eventually they find basically how to become Chozo ghosts. And then the problem is that the Phazon is able to even corrupt ghosts, and there's the cosmic horror, you know. I love how batshit insane the Thohan mocking plot is. 2 idiot birds mining piss yellow energy. Yeah, I mean, when the piss yellow energy gives you all those abilities, I think people would also be mining it. I've always noticed how native the Talon 4 Chozo settlements look. Yeah, because they built it from the ground up. They became like the it's sort of the same thing that the Luminov do with Aether. They just find it and they decide to. They go from being like these beings that just dwell in the cosmos to like following in the footsteps of the Chozo and just wanting to settle down, you know, on a world they could call home. And sadly, that world eventually also gets bombarded by a Leviathan. SR38, please give me piss yellow energy. In return, I accept gummy bear infection. You mean gummy bear assimilation?
Oh shit, you killed it.
Yes.
That was quick.
Evacuate immediately.
Well, there's not much me for. I'm just gonna take screenshots of the things I should be writing notes for, like intricate details. Because if not, then I'm just gonna be like, and though Samus escapes the frigate Orpheon. I also felt like doing like that because at least while looking for other lore videos on YouTube, I haven't really, or at least stumbled upon a video that takes into that approach. So yeah. I don't know what you guys think about the approach and stuff like that. I would really appreciate some feedback or comments or concerns in general. This is not just I say the things and stuff.
Are you sure it's not just you just saying the things?
I mean, sometimes you say the things.
Do I say the things?
Yeah. By the way, chat, can we get a massive shout out to Gabe, who's doing all the new things for the stream assets?
Am I?
Are you?
Am I doing those things? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Are you hiring like voice actresses for the POV sections? I'm not really gonna do it POV though. It's just gonna be like a narrator of sorts explaining what it goes. I considered hiring a voice actress to do that thing and all that stuff, but I feel that if I were gonna go through the trouble, quote unquote trouble, of hiring a voice actress and paying them for their time and having them deliver lines and all this other stuff, that I would rather it be one of my own original projects. In my stories and stuff like that than a rundown of the history of a game. Because I also like the fact that like Samus is a complete mute in this game. So I'm just trying to explain how the thought process would work in her brain, rather than it's like the recollecting of events through Samus's direct POV. Recollection? You know, I'll use, like, I guess, like, if I'm using Final Fantasy XIV as an example, each one of the expansions is technically a story being told, retold by some other NPC. So in this case, you could kind of see the narrator, which would be me, as that type of guy. It's also the fact that if for the, you know, resources are limited and all this other stuff, that I'd rather use that to fund the original projects and what have you. It's not that I'm honestly opposed to the idea. It's just that I think that for what I can afford and the timing and all that other stuff. It'd be much easier if either I get a few of my friends to do it, or just find ways around it. Because then you have to, you know, write the script, send it to the voice actress, find times that you can sit down with a voice actress, and, you know, work on the delivery and the character and all this other stuff, and then actually sitting and recording and all these other things. It adds more to the video that I think would add to the production quality. But I don't think that the time investment and the money investment that would have to come from my part is necessarily worth it, given my current position and stuff. Like, Meta Ridley. I always thought that it said, like, alright, here we go. The silliest Metroid I lost my power-ups excuse. I do like the new armor disintegration animation. I forgot about that.
You forgot about that.
The voice. Physical amnesia through physical trauma. I like that more because at least they tell me why. And giving the lore of the Varia suit sort of being organic and stuff like that, especially with how Sakamoto described it healing itself, you know, in fusion. I found it like a quote-unquote normal reason. I would have wrote it in that it's just Ravenbeak has a chosen way of saying turn all of these off and then yoink it out of the suit type of thing. But I'll take that as well. Was her suit properly grounded when she got hit by the electrical blast? I don't know. It's a Chozo armor, I'm assuming. Yeah, he definitely bullshitted. I mean, I'm okay with it because, like, I think it's not the first Metroid game that kind of bullshits it, and I kind of prefer when they give me a reason that I can be like, oh, okay. Suspension of disbelief. It's a series where the main intergalactic warriors that took over the universe would turn into balls to go into narrow passageways, and they're bird people fighting floating jelly brains. Like, there's enough suspension of disbelief that if they give me like a reason I can just fill in the gaps with it, then like sure. The guy decided an entire obstacle course for his daughter. RB definitely bullshitted. Well, he didn't do it. The X-Parasites build the obstacle course. He's just taking advantage of it. Because, like, with the Chosen Memories, we see, like, the whole infection and where it started and stuff, so. Alright, so we land on Talon 4. Now, time to scan everything. The Chosen did predict Samus's arrival. Maybe they left her their spare weapons and suit upgrades for her. No, they literally... Yeah, no, chat. You're literally 100% correct for that. They literally explicitly say that they left the power-ups for the Chosen One who would come and liberate the planet from the Great Poison. They saw like another Chosen warrior. They just didn't know if who exactly it was. So in a sense, Samus collecting all the artifacts is her final test to prove that she is indeed that entrusted one, I think is the term they use, that is supposed to come and destroy the Phazon. But yeah, that is in the actual scan logs. So you're 100% correct. It's not like it's not a game theory, it's lore. Talon Choso be huffing the Talonian grass. No, they're not having the Talonian grass. They were huffing the Talonian grass with the blue goop. Free the world from the melange. Yeah, heretics of dude. That's all I'm gonna say, Pon. That's all I'm gonna say. Yes, but no. I think that's the best way I can describe what is the build-up for the book. And I'm saying it this because, man, did I wish I knew that in context when I was reading it, because I was like, where is this going? And then it's like 400 pages in. Oh, okay. Gosh, I wish I knew that ahead of time. Yeah, that blue goop made them cray-cray. I mean, I need to read Heretics, but I'm stuck in a different book. Ah, don't worry about it. Heretics will be there forever. I say that in the sense that, like, I think that after Messiah, the books, the children maybe, the books kind of go into that wacko zone, starting with God Emperor, that I would only prioritize it if you're, like, really, really interested on that stuff. But I think, like, reading a different book is a perfect excuse. Just so that you can break out the variety. Sapsack chemical reaction within the sac provides a violent explosion when agitated. Because of its irresistible odor and sweet nectar, the sapsack was nearly eaten out of existence. The evolution of an explosive chemical sac saved it. Now only brave or ingenious creatures dare to devour it. Zoomer anchors itself to walls and other surfaces, avoids contact with spikes. A basic nerve center located directly above the zoomer's mandible detects nutrients. Sharp spines protect it from casual predators, but the lack of reinforcement carapace makes the zoomers vulnerable to any indirect attacks.
You didn't know how to say that in English?
No.
Vulnerable.
Gamer. Fuck you. Wall-crawling mollusks with retractable spikes. The Geimer is an evolutionary offshoot of the Zoomer family. When threatened, it extends the lethal spikes and retracts its head deeper into its armored carapace. I just love how Samus's ship OS is in Prime 2 runs on Thoha text. On Thoha text. I would have to go. I don't. By Thoha text, you mean the square text, right? Which, yeah, I guess we could probably discern that as Thoha, maybe. I gotta ask the guys from the Chozo language guy, Deadweight and stuff, but I don't know if that's confirmed Thoha or not. But I'm willing to be on that type of a boat. I'm not gonna lie. But I finished God Emperor.
Are you?
Yes, I am. I know that you finished God Emperor upon, but all I'm saying is that, like, it's okay if you take your time in that. Like, I'd be more like finish a Xenoblade X than Heretics and shit. Even though Heretics does have a scene that I'm using as a reference for Kestrel, and a scene, and it also features my second favorite character in the Dune series, the Bashar Miles Teg. Burrowing insects with a resilient carapace extremely aggressive. The insect's massive mouth enables it to tunnel through solid rock at high speeds. Above ground, beetles can cover short distances rapidly. They attack anything that moves near their lair. Not 100% confirmed to be Toha, but Samus's ship in Prime 2, Pursuit, Another M, and SR3 all have attacks. Things associated with Thoha. Well, I'd say it's all things associated with Chozo in general. Surface. This lichen grows on appears too smooth to be neutral. Because Dread does show us that also there was mocking influence on Zevis in at some capacity. You know, blast cap, volatile chemicals within, but at the same time, it's just like one's in squares, the other's in triangles. Chemicals within its weed's toxic fungal cap may explode in it if agitated. The poisonous flesh from the blast cap helps it keep it from being eaten. Also detonates when it senses even the slightest combat. Gabe?
What?
Gabe, I'm gonna kick you from the voice chat.
Why?
You're playing Pokemon Scarlet.
Yep.
I'm kicking you from the voice chat. You haven't finished.
You know, I have to sell.
You haven't finished.
I have to sell shit.
You haven't finished a Xenoblade X.
Yeah, I have not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Since we only see the mocking text on ZDR and the DNA transfer sequence, we can assume it's mocking. Then again, it could just be their version of print and cursive letters. I took it as something like that, like either different fonts or different ways of like communicating. And or like also the fact that like okay, hold on a minute. The mockings and Thoha thing was only did only become a real thing as like set in stone with Metroid Dread, and that's when the triangles showed up. So it's very easy to say like, oh, all that stuff was Thoha and whatever. But I'm in the boat where I like the idea that it's just one language, and then they just write it in different cursive, and then the similar shape is just because like when we write things, you know, 5 sometimes looks like an S, and 0 sometimes look like an O, and typo stuff, you know. I can't believe Gabe complains about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but hasn't finished Xenoblade X. Whose symbols are on the platforms in Prime 1? I think that the symbols, the Chozo text in this game means absolutely nothing. They're just there for visual decoration. Then we do not have a name for these tribe of Chozos as far as I can remember. The history of the Chozos sketches back into ancient times, so far into the fog of the past that we know not where our ancestors came from. One thing is clear, however. The Chozo who colonized Helen 4 made a conscious choice to eschew a civilization of advanced technology. We Chozo chose to live in harmony with nature, guided by the providence of the universe. We believe we will spend peaceful days here and plan to leave our words from time to time. I really wish that they added like in echoes when you scan things, you have like where in the logbook it's located on the sides, and that would be easy for a screenshot, so that way I know like I can remember what is the order in which you would see these scan logs, because I don't know how I could keep track of what scan logs. What is the order of the lore that Samus scans? Because like, you know, it starts with her scanning the pirate, the Fall of Sevis. Beginnings, I guess, yeah. I would see this language as sort of like, I don't know about you guys, but I always got like Egyptian vibes from Chozos in terms of like visual inspiration for their architecture and their aesthetics, and even in like a little bit of their outfit with Quiet Rope to an extent, the gold and whatever. Which in my mind, I guess it always makes sense because like the Egyptian pantheon had always like these bird people, Horus and Ra and stuff, you know. So I always took it like they're just older, obsolete, or no longer used text from Chozos and stuff like that. And like you even see murals in Samus Returns and fucking ZDR and all this other stuff that just goes more with like hieroglyphics and stuff like that. Which I've always taken that even though the Chozo are hyper advanced, part of the reason they're so hyper advanced is because they know how to keep their roots alive, or some of it, and for better or worse, you know. 3 stones. That's pretty cool. Horus, Wrath, little birdie. I mean, Raven, because this place is a pharaoh's on the murals. Yeah, I mean, it's and when you look at the garbs that Quiet Rope has, it kind of seems sort of the same-ish. I can see that at Zero Mission. Yeah, definitely. Then owning Zebesians is my mural highlight. Yeah, that I always saw them as like, my headcanon has always been that the Chozo are not native to Zevas. They merely made a colony there, and the Mockings just like colonized it. They took in the Zebesians, and that's part of why the Zebesians wanted to join with the space pirates, so they could like liberate themselves from whatever Chozo pests. And with Mother Braid going rogue, they had like the perfect way of doing it. And so the mural in ZDR is just like commemorating that victory or whatever. Like, I'd wish it even just told me the name of the scanlog I just read. Many long years have passed since we Chozo first took root in this land. The passage of time has always been a source of fascination to us. It is the belief of many Chozo sages that the truths of the universe hide within the tumbling currents of time's flow. Even as we search for answers there, however, we find illumination in other unexpected places. We know now how the ability has come to us, but recently many Chozo have begun to sense things beyond the realm of ordinary perception. Strange sights and inexplicable sensations flood our minds, filling us with visions. We take this growing ability to be a sign of our burgeoning harmonization with the infinite. Perhaps, finally, the universe's secrets are becoming known to us. Choir robe has priestish robes, which at first glance doesn't make sense for a scientist until you remember priests in ancient Egyptians were mathematicians and scientists. And you could also like use that for other, like, you know, the Roman sages and stuff. I saw it more like a sage or a scholar robes as well, if you may. But that's what I've always, you know, I know I broken record. How many times have I not said this in the Metroid videos? But it's really what made me like go from like, all right, Lake Hylia is cute and cool and memorable and all that stuff, but it's just a lake. Meanwhile, here in Metroid Prime, I know so much about this lake. Plasmites, small insects capable of storing and releasing thermal energy. Plasmites are attached to sources of heat, thriving on the energy present there. They emit light when hunting and will expel small bursts of thermal energy when threatened. Tangleweed, plant life with basic sentience, retracts into ground if threatened. Tangleweeds are only dangerous to small organisms. They are covered in tiny barbs designed to trap potential meals. Tangleweeds lack the strength to do anything more than hinder larger life forms. It's so cool. I absolutely adore the hologram wristbands that Thoha used. Yeah. I've been playing Metroid since the first. Missed Prime 2 and 3. Busy with life. Should I skip 2 and play 3 and prep for Prime 4? I think if you do it... I think if... I would no. My honest opinion, I would recommend and suggest that you do play Echoes. Because the lore of Echoes builds into things for corruption. I feel like each chapter of the trilogy really been built upon what is established in the second one. And in Echoes particularly, a lot of it is how the Phazon may be more sentient than what we believe, which later in Metroid Prime 3 sort of becomes the actual corruption that we know, because the sentience and the will of the Phazon corrupts the will and the minds of others. But all of that foreshadow and build up with Dark Samus and all these other stakes happens as in Echoes. You can play Corruption and not know anything about Echoes and still be fine. But I think that if you want the maximum enjoyment of the story and how the series evolved, you owe it to yourself to play it. I know it's a tougher one. I know it's not for everybody, but I find the lore of it to be so more fascinating because it's also like a brand new world. There's no space pirates, there's no Galactic Federation or Metroids or Ridley or all these other conventions that we've come to associate with Metroid as in the main foreground threats. It's just new concepts in a new alien civilization that Samus has to essentially do the whole Chozo thing and become a warrior of the Luminoth and all that journey that she has. It makes it a very interesting and compelling narrative for the Metroid universe, in my opinion, where Corruption feels more like an action movie of sorts, of destroying the cosmic horror that threatens the universe, where Prime 1 and 2 are there to just show you more of the horror side of this cosmic universe. The lore of Echoes is great. I just wish I didn't get lost in it. It happens to me as well. The whole reason I'm doing this Prime 1 lore video is because I eventually want to do the Echoes one. I'm not even... I have returned from laying down to fight off the sleepy. What have I missed? Not much. Just me talk about Metroid, I guess. Scolding
And about
Gabe.
Metroid.
Scolding Gabe for playing Pokemon Scarlet instead of in whatever other crappy
Oh.
Pokemon games rather than Xenoblade X finishing.
Xenoblade doesn't pay me.
There we go. I've destroyed.
Recording to logbook.
I don't have directional sense, so I get lost very easy. But the lore is what makes it for me. Playing Pokemon seems criminal nowadays. I know. Money or no money. I just don't want to condone more of my time for it and stuff. But that's just me. Thanks. I guess I try to fit in Prime 2 and 3 before 4. Where do you speculate the 2D series will go from here with the Metroid lore and that story arc finished? I really don't know. I've been really thinking about where Metroid 6 could go. In my humble opinion, I just think it needs to go somewhere new and fresh and just distance itself from the normal series conventions and stuff like that. Just so that there can be new life and creativity. But I think they could still focus it more on Chozo type of stuff. Pon says, Gabe, that Xenoblade has need. Then you can stare at need.
Yeah, but staring at need doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah, but you can do that on the side, is what we're saying.
I cannot play 2 games at the same time.
Well, I mean, you're not literally on the side as you're playing Pokemon. I digress. Yeah, passageway to shrine. This is why I mostly play randomizers for Pokemon. This is why I mostly just play older Pokemon games. Or just like grind other stuff. These blue orbs seem to be simple light sources. Imagine playing more than one game at the same time. I mean, it happens to me when I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 and stuff like that, or I'm doing something else. Nowadays, I'm just more picky on what I play. Gab, you have 3 monitors, says Pawn. You can handle 2 games.
Yeah, but I don't have 2 switches.
Yeah, no, but what we were saying is not during when you're playing Pokemon.
But when I'm not doing this poker thing, I'm doing other things.
Yeah, and you can just put Xenoblade in there.
Okay, when I do the other things, how do I play Xenoblade at the same time? Like, I don't have the mental capacity to do 2 things at the same time.
I feel like, Pawn, it sounds to me like Gabe is just making a bunch of excuses. You could just say that you don't like the game. If you haven't seen it, YouTube Fat Bread has excellent story analysis of Metroid lore, and points you will agree the space pirates and the construction of Elmi is outstanding insight for a start. I mean, I think I've seen part of it. I haven't finished it. That seems familiar. But I blame my YouTube algorithm for not showing me this type of things. But at the same time, it's like, the type of things I'm trying to do is maybe first on the lore on the planets and stuff like that, and then move on into those subjects. I just am trying not to step on other people's toes when making silly videos online, not because I think that the other creators might be angry or whatever, but just because the internet zeitgeist currently on Donkey Kong on hard X mode fusion. It's time to be more balling again. Space Pirate video to speak. I'm definitely gonna check it out more again later. Just for reference, but like I said, I've been slowly just paying more attention to other sources of, because like my focus, as I've mentioned, is my original creative projects, and I feel like I already have enough of this Metroid brain rot in my brain that I not necessarily don't need somebody else to tell me about it, but more so that I'm trying to spend that time in looking for other things that have similar story elements or similar things that I like from Metroid that I can also use as reference. So that's why I like go into Xenoblade, because you see a lot of like Space Pirates, Xenoblade X particularly, because you see a lot of Metroid, Space Pirate, Chozo type of things, and like Armored Core, and Elden Ring, and other stuff in general that I just don't want to stick to the one thing. You know? Which is what sometimes happens when, like, I don't even, to be fair, I just put out, I make my videos and then I don't look at them anymore. For more or less the same reasons. So, when will you call me call to me Lord Dumb? I'm assuming you said Lord Dumb. 40K for reference material. When the project that might benefit more for the type of world that Warhammer is based around, and those themes are, I can afford more time into it. I wonder what the connection between Aeon and the X are. Alright, hold on. Hold on a minute. I need 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Alright. I'm back. Alright, so to answer your question about the relation between, or connection between Aeon and X, my simple theory, or the way I've always interpreted it since Samus Returns, is that Aeon is sort of like a life energy, or a unique source of energy that the living beings of SR388 can more or less possess in their body, and it grows on the planet. So, and that mostly comes because of the second Chozo memory, where you see them harnessing like the Aeon from corpses and stuff like that. So in my headcanon, it means that if these creatures have it, and all these other things have it, and it's so abundant, like you kill creatures in SR388 and they drop Aeon, then possibly an X-Parasite, a being that that we know excels at creating a one-to-one replica of whatever host it killed and infected, would most likely also have Aeon present in his body somehow, if not for the simple fact that they absorbed it from the host or the planet itself. And it was that particular Aeon energy that the cause the Metroids to mutate into the Alpha, Gamma, Zeta, Omega Queen Metroids and all this other stuff. And thus, Ravenbeak's plan when he was in SR and Samus and CDR and all this other stuff with releasing the X parasites was perhaps trying to get the Aeon in Samus to eradicate, to just throw the Metroid DNA out of whack, because it's no longer something that she's grabbing from a power-up. She's directly consuming from the creature through the Metroid DNA. So like the difference between, oh, I collected the flash shift and that doesn't affect my Metroid DNA is because it's a power-up, it's going into my suit, versus nom nom nom, I ate this thing and now I regained my health. So, you know, so with that be my theory is just as simply everything that originates from SR3D8, be it because the planet has like mining reserves, or it's in the water, or it's in the air, or whatever, it also seeped itself into the organisms of the planet, and that in fact will include the X parasites, because when we look at the chosen memories from Samus Returns, there's the one specific where like they're digging deeper and deeper into the planet to look more for the Aeon, and then when they come into contact with the X parasites, there's a lot of like Aeon, or assuming Aeon, present in the scene. So I wonder if another planet has Aeon, if it has X or a version of X as well. I don't know. I honestly would prefer it if it's not, because then I feel like it diminishes the cosmic horror threat of the X parasites if I feel like they just happen to be somewhere else as well. Either thing. I probably would be more open to the idea of Aeon being somewhere else, because as a gameplay mechanic, you're just using that as a flavor text of the type of ability Samus can get as more of a mystical type of thing, versus the X parasite that's just like an enemy. It's like if you're playing Metroid, we've known that like, oh, the Metroids are only for SR388 made by the Chozos and whatever, but now they're also native and they've started in all this other stuff on planet Jombular, you know? The surges of negative energy brought by the meteor far exceed our expectation. We chose to have yet to find a way to rid ourselves of the great poison. All we can do now is seal it away and wait for the day when a power to purify the poison appears. However, it is already impossible to collect all the pieces of the great poison, as it already spread, seeping into the planet and hardening. So yeah, like that's always been my take. Take it, you know, my 2 cents. Take it for what you think it's worth.
Recorded to logbook.
Shrink bat territorial ceiling dwellers. Body temperatures peak at 121 degrees centigrade. Shriek bats have high internal temperature, making them easy to spot with thermal imaging. They roost on cave ceilings while hunting for small prey. Fiercely territorial, they dive on anything that wanders near. Alright, but now they're dead. Like, evolution, I guess. It's like a cicada, you know? They reach adulthood and then they just fucking die.
Recorded to logbook.
Follows you, Reaper Vine, powerful rock-dwelling tentacle. A single eye on the Reaper Vine keeps a constant visual, but its vision is limited to 10 meters. A scythe-like appendage on its tip is honed to lethal sharpness. Reaper Vine will swing this blade wildly at anything that enters its zone of perception. Video? What do you mean by video? Subtle storytelling's insane in that area. You know something's very, very wrong in that area. Yeah, no, that's part of the reason I like the Metroid environmental design. It's just, it says everything. Roman toxic levels have rotted the old leaves. So, chat, one thing that I guess we can say that this water has been poisoned more or less because of the Phazon, because it's poisoned because of Flagra, and Flagra is the way it is because of the Phazon, right? Or am I misremembering that? You forgot a screen cap video. the last Chozo lore. Screen cap video on the last Chozo lore. Now I'm very confused. Did I guess I missed something in one of my videos? It's been a while, and I haven't really watched them, so I wouldn't put it past me for forgetting something. But like the 30. Oh, you mean like on the Choso thing I was of the reading? Seconds recording you did for all the Choso Fire entries in the stream. Ah, okay. Thank you for reminding me. I'm just trying to think ahead, because I feel that the one issue I might have with that is just space on my Switch, and I need to because I know I'm gonna be making a lot of screen caps. But I'll just go. I gotta go back anyways, so I'll make sure to record those too. It's just that like, the clips are 30 seconds long, and then I don't want to be trimming those down so that they occupy less memory space on my Switch, and so on and so forth. I think I will go to bed earlier than usual. Friends want to gather for Magic the Gathering again tomorrow, so I want to get up in some early to have some alone time that day. Yeah, I know how you feel. I have a very, very social weekend, and I have to just have the time for myself. Roots originate over walls. No decomposition detected. Host plant appears to thrive on toxic water. Oh shit. No, mom taking up space. You're not wrong, Pawn. I mean, like I said yesterday, I went from this being 2,500 or 3,000 in the like to 1,000. So like I'm also playing Sea of Stars, which has reference. I'm also playing some other titles in here that have references for the vibes or the stories that I want to tell. So I don't need more cleaning up to do. Like, it's already bad enough that I might have to, like, not that I have to plug in my phone and start deleting pictures. That I don't want it to also be the Switch as well. But yeah, I have a short social battery. But yeah, have a good rest stream. Maybe I can burden you when I get up tomorrow. Just let me know. I also do have a short social battery in general, so I definitely understand how that feels, and wanting and / needing like your own alone time and stuff. Choso lore has an entry downloaded. Choso script translated. Disaster struck suddenly. We had a vague dark foreboding. And then it became truth. A meteor appeared from nowhere, casting a dark shadow debris over the land with the violence of its impact. The destructive force spent the fallen star, burned itself out rapidly, and the incident should have faded into memory. But the meteor brought with it corruption. A great poison burst into the land, a strange energy that clawed at natural life with a ferocity. That strange negative energy emitted from the meteor expanded to encompass Talon 4 in the night, as a spider weaves its web, and you could see Pawn drinking all of the delicious goop. Don't worry, I've been saving clips and taking pictures, whether because of funny or bully or to stare. At this point, I believe more the bully, because it's Elma. my goodness. The path of corruption leads ever higher. What do you think that might mean? Path of corruption leads ever higher. I know in the context of what Han might be thinking about corruption leading ever higher, but the chosen. And yes, I'd be drinking them blue Gatorades. I think everybody knows that at this point. I guess for those who might not know in the voice in the stream, Han is the one who voices Dark Samus in the Orpheum videos. Hide your face on from her. She'll drink it up. Her nourishment, as she says. Shit. I just wanted the health. Alright. I'm almost like walking around with the scan visor just in case there's any other smaller like environmental details that can help with just the narrative of the story. Because I also thought about breaking it into chunks and stuff.
Hey Robert, I sent you the UI in pieces.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I'll download it after the stream, play around with it, and I'll let you know if there's anything else for it. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. Yes.
It's the water of life. It is the bless the maker. Metroid 7.
You're not doing anything to it.
What?
You're not doing anything to it.
Doing anything to what?
To the roller thingy.
I already shot it. I'm also like scanning in case there's a creature this early that might show signs of like phazon corruption or whatever, but I don't think we're at that point just yet. Metroid Save and Poker Night. Well, that reminds me of like Poker Nights at the Inventory. I used to love those games. Just because of like the funny conversations, flavor text, and
Play cat game because I'm Jack of Cat.
I heard that there's going to be a Metroid Prime 4 demo at Gamescom. A playable demo. I think Silk Song as well, which is exciting for... it's like, wow. Talk about two very anticipated games that are taking their sweet time to be developed. It reminds me of Death Stranding. Beep, Sam. We here at Bridges ID need you to go and scan your feet. Why the fuck do you need to scan my feet, Die Hard Man? So that Kojima can put you in the game. I see. Execution does reference poker. It's a story. Its story ain't good, but the game is. As long as one or the other is good. I'm mostly worried less about the story. Because I see that as a bonus. But I've definitely played games because I like the story way too much and not the gameplay. Sam is the tar man. Currents are fucked. We can't move the DHV Mega LAN. I don't know. If those are Death Stranding 2 characters, I don't know who they are because I don't have a PlayStation 5, and that's why I'm so sad. I have to wait until Kojumbo puts that on PlayStation, on PC. I played a bit at my in-law. He does have like a PS5, but I haven't really I haven't really seen anything aside from like the trailers that show like Hicks back again, and what's his fucking name? Mad Max director, George Miller and stuff. But my brother and I keep like quoting Death Stranding. It's our brain rot. We like whenever I go for like we're missing some groceries for dinner or lunch or whatever, and I'm going to the store to pick them up. I would go and make like Death Stranding bits because I'm walking with my backpack, and the scenery where we live has some very Death Stranding looking weather and environments and stuff like that. So we thought about one day, just for the shits and giggles, recording ourselves doing all the Sam impersonations and stuff like that with the music, and just sending it to Kojima as a meme, like playing Low Roar or whatever in the background. So remember going to E3 2002 to play Metroid Prime demo. As us Metroid fans were worried about the transition to 3D. After playing it, I knew it was in good hands. Well, I can't say that I was in that point, because Metroid Prime was the game that made me a Metroid fan. I had like played Super Metroid and the original at like a friend's house because they had like a Super Nintendo, but I never had a Super Nintendo of my own growing up. Like the first console that we had in the house was a Nintendo 64. I'm going to Gamescom for another round of Prime 4. Oh, sweet. I'd ask for thoughts and stuff like that, but
By the way, I just remember randomly.
I'm too far away to be able to go to Gamescom and stuff like that.
I'm not that far, and I'm still not able to.
Yeah.
It ain't cheap going to Gamescom,
Yes.
especially to where the city that is located. But no, yeah. So I remember randomly. I don't think your fans ever noticed or pointed it out.
What?
The thing that we did on April Fools.
I forgot. We've done so many April Fool's bits.
I was just gonna say, because I don't think we're gonna be doing that one again. So, Chad, in one of the
can do it.
streams, I don't know. Well, if I say it, probably it's not going to work anymore.
All right, then no say it.
Okay, well, I'll say it.
Don't say it.
I'm not saying it. I'm gonna say it. We can try it again and see if they notice this time.
Yeah. I was at the Switch 2 experience in Berlin, but now I want to goof around in Danger. It was good. That's all I'm gonna say. It's also very smelly. I hate Köln, whatever it's called in English.
Wait.
Quick, quick.
Wait, I've been meaning to go back to Germany. I don't know why. I really like the country.
Never been in Germany.
When I studied in the UK, starting the channel and all that other stuff. I did several trips to Berlin because I had a few friends in there and in Netherlands. So I don't know. I kind of grew fond of it. I think part of it's because I like the architecture and the brutalism and all this other stuff. So I at least enjoyed my time in Berlin for Oktoberfest. I wanted to go like Munich and visit more of the country, but I could only really afford like one place. So I chose to just visit the capital. To visit visit some architecture. And I had a friend over there, so it made the most sense for me to, if I can only go to one place, then I can do a lot of the things that I wanted to do for my own stuff, and then also visit my friend while I'm doing it. So the whole brutalist communist architecture is foreign to me. For me, it's not so much because where I'm from, it's not in the same scale or in the same fashion as like over there, but we did get a lot of the same type of architecture and stuff like that. So like I think that's why I've always been eternally fascinated by it. I grew around like factories and brutalist buildings and stuff like that because of where like my granddad and my dad worked. So I've always had just this awe around the buildings and the architecture and the feel. That like I just wanted to go and take a tour just to be in the buildings and like live in them for a while. And while being in there, I like wrote a few stories and stuff like that. Tainted with barbs that deliver powerful toxin venom which rapidly decompose anything that succumbs in their midst. Me first playing Metroid was in the summer of 1990, borrowing it for the summer break and playing it until I beat it. Been a fan ever since. Architecture is nice, to be honest. Can't really admire it here though. It's all concrete. I mean, but there's things you can probably... There's definitely things you can admire over there at Midnight. I don't know what the fuck are you saying. If you want concrete, boring buildings, you're more than welcome to come to my neck of the woods. My city was occupied by Americans. Haha, thus we are very Americanized architecture and roadways. Also, fuck, ton of McDonald's. Yeah, I also did notice that a lot of McDonald's and KFCs and stuff in Berlin, but I didn't want to go to any of them. Unless they had like a unique stuff. But like, for me with Metroid, I've said this story a while, but like when I was a kid and we moved countries, my dad wanted to buy me told me like, all right, I was probably like a kid. I was a kid, like a young boy, not even young man at that point, and like so we went to the mall to help him do some errands, and we're just window shopping on the video games. For fun, and I did not know that he was just like, all right, I'll buy this when he's not looking, or next time I'm here. And I asked for Metroid Prime because before moving from my original like birth country, my best friend had brought this game over, and it just blew my mind that I just had to play it. I'm like, all right, if he likes it, I'm probably gonna like it. And then I played Metroid Prime, and I fell in love with it ever since. And I got to play it a lot in that because I just had moved. 2 days later, I had to go through surgery because I had like an appendicitis. And so I liked it a lot, and then I got like, one of my parents went to a trip in the US and they brought me a GameCube demo DVD that had like Metroid Fusion and the stuff, so I bought that later, and then like, I don't know, I grew a connection with the universe and the lore, and Samus is a character ever since, and I haven't looked back. This plant is a source of toxic water in the ruins. Flagra's growth cycle has been radically accelerated. As a result, it requires near constant exposure to solar energy and remains active. Exposure made Flagra's outer shell thick and durable. Its lower root system is unprotected and vulnerable. However, exploit this flaw when possible. Concentrated weapon fire in days, blah blah blah. I love that I can go anywhere in Germany by foot, bicycle, and train. That's the thing I loved about Europe in general. I just loved walking, train. I hate cars. I hate driving so fucking much. Because I also used to live in Florida. There's nothing I hated more in Florida that I have to go somewhere because I know I'm going to spend a lot of the time sitting on a car. Then when I went to Berlin and like, Madrid and London and Paris and all this other stuff, I was able to just walk everywhere and I loved it. Some pretty places, but there's usually a lot more of the important buildings. It doesn't feel like spread out among other places in the city. Yeah, all I'm saying is like you at least got like a very like, I was there for 3 nights Midnight, and I took pictures from very distinct type of buildings and architecture from different sides of like the place that you were at. So like don't make me fly all the way over there and call you out again.
Do it.
Wait, GameCube
Do you,
DVD
coward?
demo? Does it
You
exist
won't?
on YouTube? Probably. I would have to go look into it, but I could look it up if you want to see. Suburbia requires cars I do not like. Yeah, me neither. You can be in bumfuck nowhere in Germany and it will have a bus train station. Yeah, I know. That's the same in the UK, which is where I studied. Does it not really say if Flagra is or not, like, mutated by Phazon? Both them. I need a confirmation for chat. I live near the Alps, and I'm often hiking. Ooh, so jelly. Well, I live near a volcano, so I'm also always like, well, several volcanoes, and I can see them from my window. And sometimes I go up there and I birdwatch and hike and stuff. I once accidentally hiked to Austria. That sounds like fun. That's fair enough, I suppose. My area of suburbia requires cars. I don't know if it is mutated. Lore log doesn't say it was. Yeah, I'm trying to look at it. This plant is the source of toxic water in the ruins. It sounds more like it's a source of mutation. Yeah, no, I know that there's something mutating thing here, but I also don't want to be the guy who's like Flagra, who's mutated by Phazon into doing this thing, and then, you know, Metroid Hunter 69 comes over in the chat and tells me that I'm wrong. And, you know, they're right. I'm not gonna be angry at the fact that I was wrong and they're right, but then I go like, shit, you know. Like, I can drive because being driven here is too expensive. But like, I definitely would rather take my own autonomy in where I'm going and stuff like that. So I guess Flagra isn't mutated by a byproduct of Phazon, right?
Recording to logbook.
When a Flagra tentacle fails, it's this narrow drainage channel. Analysis indicates that Flagra's central nervous system is located at the base of the structure. You know? Actually? Actually? I get those a lot in the comments. I usually heart them when it's people actually correcting me because I got a detail wrong or something like that. I hate it when it's like, I said manga, but it's pronounced menge or some other shit. That's when I draw the line of like pet peeves. Wow, Flagra's attack actually worked. I only drive when absolutely necessary. My girlfriend loves to drive, so I guess. So guess who's driving? You. You're the one driving. Alright, after this, I'll probably call it a stream. I'll go to a save room and call it a stream because I am getting hungry. But I will.
How hungry are you getting?
Very. But I will also double check what the wiki says just for fun. It's our car, but she's a chauffeur. It's kind of the same here. Kroko and I, when we were in the car, we take turns being the chauffeur. Part for me is that like I'm very apprehensive and I get anxious and stuff like that. So sometimes when I'm driving, like I'm always like afraid of crashing or something happening and stuff like that. Not to the point where I couldn't drive. And like if I know an area and stuff, I can kind of get used to it. But like definitely to the point that like it's a little fear in the back of my mind. I like driving because I get to blast music. Yeah, but I feel like I get to blast music when I'm on my bike as well. I get to blast music when I'm walking or when I'm on the train. In Germany, roads are extremely narrow. So are here, dude. Like we have one lane for two lane for like a two-way street in a one lane. I'm not even joking. The infrastructure where I live is horrendous. Like
Horrendous, you say?
yeah, you're describing everywhere over here. I don't blast music as much while walking in public transport. I have unfortunate disadvantage of existing. I'm the opposite. If I'm in public, I'm blasting my own thing. But like in walking or in the subway or whatever. But if I'm in the car, I have to pay a little bit more attention, not get distracted by the music, because if not, then I'll crash. What is... Hold on, here's a question. What are your most and least favorite aspects of the Mercury Steam's take on Metroid? As girls is required to be more vigilant. Yeah, no, I definitely understand that perspective. It's never to the point that I'm not vigilant or whatever, but it's just that I'm very easily distracted if I'm driving because I am not like... I don't know how to say it. Like, if I'm walking around and all this other stuff because of the places that I grew up and all this other stuff, I always know to look behind my shoulders and stuff like that. But if it's in a car, it's like autopilot. And that's the problem. But I totally get your point, Midnight. To answer that question about the Mercury Steam. For me, the main thing, my least favorite thing about the Mercury Steam game so far is the lack of a... I wouldn't say a good soundtrack, but a memorable soundtrack. Because I like the songs, I like the music. I really feel they convey the vibe of the area as well. But they don't have like a core melody that you keep humming at the back of your mind, kind of like with the soundtrack of the Prime series or even the original games that I think they could spend a little bit more time into. And then just the more I'm trying to like structure my thoughts so I don't say it in Spanish by accident. It's also the more so the fact that like the last two games of sorts, like I feel like they got some great concepts in the story and all that, but like I would like to see a little bit more of the execution. At least with Dread, because I think like Burenia was just like kind of rushed, but that's like an isolated incident that I don't really think affects my overall enjoyment with the lore and stories in the Mercury Steam games. But I just think that they can maybe, because I like the way one of my favorite things are like the movement and the speed and the cinematics and the presentation of these games. They look fantastic. Samus feels more badass than ever. The things that you fight look fun and are fun to fight, and they look fun to fight. The exploration is very refreshing and different. I think that the only other thing I dislike from the Mercury Steam games is that I feel like I'm getting I would like to see more like alternative endings or sequence break methods that push the envelope a little bit more, like Zero Mission. Given that I think their games are way more easier to control and do all those complex maneuvers than Zero Mission, because they've been great at just making systems like the Shine Spark and the Speed Booster so much more forgiving for the better. The future is vague is a vague thing, ever changing and always in doubt. Even if we chose or could gain the ability to foresee the future, it would be a hollow gift, for we could never hope to control what has yet to occur. The fountain is an example of this. The day may come when its waters dries up, and there's nothing we could do to stop such a tragedy. But we do know this: unlike the uncertain flow of water, the power of our will is strong and enduring. The will of the chosen will never run dry. Walking with background music makes me less aware sometimes. Alt endings would be nice, to be honest. Yeah, alt endings would also be cool. But I wouldn't really say that's a thing that I would consider my least favorite thing of a Mercury system game. I feel like I'm just struggling to find a specific thing, because I like the atmosphere, I like the art directions in the backgrounds of their maps. I think they've made Samus look her coolest since Other M.
Basically, you like the game beyond what is shown.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's mostly like I would like to see some more work on the audio department, some more tinkering and stuff like that. Because like I play some of these other Metroid games, and the way they sound and stuff is ingrained into my brain, and I think sound is very important. And not to say that it's bad on Mercury system, but I think it could be pushed a little bit further for like the next installments. Oh, I might have a minute or two to pop in. Well, midnight. I'm sorry to say, but I'm about to end the stream. I'm so sorry to say, but there's a safe room. I'm gonna get one more missile expansion, and then I'm gonna go into that safe room. And I'm gonna go have lunch. Foiled by work once again. Don't worry, Midnight. Maybe, like, when I'm gonna be doing, like, a daily stream and stuff, so maybe I can make those one of those days at a later time so that more people can join in the conversation and chat can have more of the chaos that tends to be the voice chat. Free me from my shackles. If only I could. I would. Look forward or dread the many new SAX encounters in Exfusion, a few steams. The many new SAX encounters. Well, I'm looking forward to them. You love causing chaos, Midnight? That's why we say you love Shindan Kuroto from Kamen Rider X8. He's all about that. I didn't take a clip of me escaping the Emmy yesterday, but it's a YouTube clip. But anyways, I might call it a stream here because gosh, I cannot describe how hungry I am.
Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer you sent me. I need to see that.
The Kamen Rider one.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, it looks promising.
Do you know the new nickname they gave to this Kamen Rider title?
Cesty.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I've seen Sex.
Oh my gosh, I've only seen Cesty. I fear Mercury Steam truly understands Metroid. I do like the music, but agree aside from water level is not as memorable. Biggest complaint I have is the huge difficulty spike at bosses. The difficulty spike in bosses, I didn't really feel it as much because it's like I equate it to Fusion. When I played Fusion for the first time, I really struggled with Nightmare and Yakuza and several bosses. And when I played Echoes, I struggled with the Boost Guardian and the Grapple Guardian and the Alpha Blog. And when I played Corruption, I struggled with Molganar and Omega Ridley and stuff like that. And when I played, like, I feel like there's always a Metroid boss that I struggle at. And I'd rather have a difficult boss that then just becomes easier by practice, like in the case of Dread and Samus Returns, where like I completed an entire Dread mode run, and so like that was the proof enough that it's just like getting good at reacting and stuff like that. But I can understand why some people might be dissuaded from it. I just got like having a boss that like kicks my butt. A lizard. Yeah, Fusion 2.0 is Dread. Yeah, I mean, no, Fusion 2.0 is Samus Returns. Dread is Fusion 3.0. Unless you want to go with Samus Returns being like a 1.5. But yeah. The Dread crate fight was second to none, beautifully executed in every way. I just think that the guys at Mercury's team know how to build a boss fight. That the bosses fight fun to play against. The boss looks and animates incredible. That Samus always feels like she's like indestructible yet still struggling. It's like a fine line to walk, and I think that they just they just nailed it. I measure it by having X in game. The bosses also look Metroid. Yeah, I mean, they feel natural to the 2D worlds and stuff like that. I feel like, well, the reason I like the art style a lot is because it feels like the natural progression of what the 2D art styles wanted to do and modernizing it and stuff like that. So, like, that's just another... I just think the Mercury team have nailed it out of the park, that if they were to like address those small nitpicks, they probably would be making some of my favorites in the series. And I do know that part of the reason, you know, even Dread is like, it's still in my top games, but I don't put it in the same way as pedestal of Fusion and Super or Echoes because, well, there's the nostalgia bias behind those other two. But yeah, I'm gonna go have some lunch. Hopefully this following week I'll be able to start implementing more the new stream stuff, so that way we can have a little bit more integration and continue with these games. And yeah, I'm back up to date with the F-Zero video almost. Just need footage from racing that I can intersplice in like gaps of nothingness in the video, so that way I can just upload it soon-ish. Have a nice slash polls would be fun. What do you mean by polls? Like on the stream or in the channel? I'm gonna make polls, and we're gonna make stuff like that. So like if you ever have ideas or suggestions for things that you would like on the stream, do let me know, because I'm looking into implementing and updating. But with that said, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a fantastic night or day. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys join me next time. Will I beat the next boss?
No, you won't.
No, you won't. No, I won't. But we can do stuff like that. Anyways, take care, guys. Bye.